just wanted to give you my little vignette of where we are and to what extent we've steered the public debate and the business deployment of the technology. So a couple of weeks ago I was at home on a Saturday morning and the phone rang and I ignored it because it was an 800 number, which you generally do, right? So you wouldn't normally answer them. And because usually it's the Microsoft IT department telling me about my PC, whatever. So, and we've been having a bit of an argument about that in my house because when you get those calls, right, so it's the Microsoft support department or whatever, I always say, oh, can I just put you on hold for a moment? And then put the phone back down and carry on doing whatever I was doing, right? And my wife says, well, that's rude. You should just hang the phone up right away. And I'm like, well, no, if you hang the phone up, then the ACD will just roll over to the next poor bastard on the list, and they'll pick the, if everybody would just leave the phone off the hook until it timed out at the other end, that would tip the economic balance away from running these stupid calls, pestering us with the Microsoft IT. Sorry, I'm getting a bit off topic with this. So anyway, the phone rang again. It's an 800 number, and I don't know. My son's gone to university. Perhaps he's in hospital. This is what you think, right, when you're a parent. So I assume, like, if he's been stabbed in a knife fight, they send you a text message or something. So I answer it. Well, I don't know. It's new to me. So I answer it, and a chap said, "Well, this is the fraud department of your issuing bank. And I want, there's some problems with your card. Can I ask you a couple of security questions?" And because I was actually sitting at the PC, while he was saying this, that's a bit funny. So I opened up the page where I could see my last transactions. So I said to him, well, actually, I'm sitting at the machine. I can see my last 10 transactions. So if you tell me the value of any 2 of those transactions, I'll believe that you're really from the issuing department of the bank, and then we can move on, because I'm not telling you my date of birth and national insurance number, whatever else you wanted. So you answer a couple of my security questions, and then we can move on. Oh, well, I can't do that. Why not? Data protection. Because I can't tell you the value of those transactions until I know that you're you. Okay, all right, we're stuck. So I'm like, well, this is obviously, some ridiculous scam that I'll see on Moneybox next week. So I hang up, right? And they phone back, and they go, no, this really is the bank. Can I tell you? It's like, I don't believe you for a moment. Why don't you give me a number and I'll phone you back? Can't do that because it's a call center, right? So I can give you another number that you can call back. I'm like, all right, give me another number you can call back. So I hang up. I assume it's in Bucharest or something. I assume so. But anyway, because I was waiting for Game of Thrones to download or something, so it was taking a few minutes. So I thought, well, I'll Google it because it will probably show up on one of there's those websites that show you all the scam numbers. You put the number in, and it says, this is ambulance chasing lawyers or whatever, right? So I put the number in, and it was the fraud department of my bank. So I phoned back, and it turned out that my card was enjoying itself at a car wash in Detroit, and they were wondering if I was in Detroit with it, or if the card was taking a well-deserved break and had gone off on its own. And what struck me as being odd about this was that all the time this is going on my phone, I have an app from my bank, which works perfectly. In fact, I use it all the time. I love it. My bank has an excellent mobile app where I can see the card and I can see the last transactions. So my bank has an app on my phone which knows where I am. Actually, it also knows who I am, because you have to log in a PIN to log into it and check the. So it's like, the bank knows conceptually perfectly well who I am and where I am, and yet they're wasting everybody's time and money phoning me up about a dumb magstripe transaction. By the way, and you can't say to them, it doesn't work for my bank anyway, I said to them, can you just decline all magnetic stripe transactions? I would never do that. I don't even want the damn thing on my card. Can't do that. And I was thinking, not just because I was sitting next to Rick, but has anyone seen that movie Middlemen, about the start of the porn industry on the internet? It's an excellent film, and it's a fictionalized version of the story of the two guys that figured out how to first take credit card numbers on the internet. And this idea was immediately taken up by the porn industry, which is why the film has a kind of tragic trajectory to it. But it's a very interesting film because it's about this time in 1997 when all this started. And my point is, as far as I can tell, it's still 1997 when I go on the internet to buy something. And I'm puzzled as to how we can have made so little Nothing has happened. In every other sphere of industry and commerce, and in fact, everything related to the internet, things are fantastic. In a minute, I'm going to log on and look at what you're saying on Twitter. Because you will be on, right? Because I'm down with the kids. I want you to be too. I can remember how boring conferences used to be before Twitter, right? So it's like, I don't want to go back to those horrible times. I want to see what you're all saying about this. So in everything else we do, there's this continuous advancement. In this one area, is it me and is it the bank? Nothing has happened since 1997. And I find that not only depressing, but I also find it slightly demoralizing. I can't tell you how many committees and seminars and conferences I've been to about it, actually mostly with the people in this room. It's not like we don't know what to do about it. Like no one's thought of any kind of technological solution to it. We know exactly what to do about it, but somehow it's just not translated into the real world of business yet. And I want to see the conversation focusing on what we're actually going to do to take this forward. And so I'm really happy that you gave me the chance this afternoon to sit on these two panels. So first of all, we need to understand, we can't pretend it's not there, we can't wish it away, we have to understand the regulatory structure, the governance about it, and then we're going to finish the day by talking about some commercial issues. And I literally, if we don't make some progress soon, I will just cry the next time I get an invitation to come along. It's just, nothing has happened. It's pretty soon, it'll be 20 years since anything happened in this space, and I feel that's a little too long. So I hope I've thrown down a gauntlet that you guys will rise to.